You are being deliberately obtuse. You are looking at the Mona Lisa and complaining about the cracks in the paint.
Oh, here we go.
It is the absolute bedrock of the entire genre. Without this film, you simply do not have modern horror.
That is such an overstatement.
You don't have the visual language of fear. It is a symphony, a literal symphony of horror.
A symphony? Are you having a laugh? It's a cacophony, mate.
It is not.
It is a grainy, stolen, uneven mess that people only pretend to like because they think they should.
Oh, rubbish.
It's to appear intellectual. It's the film equivalent of eating raw kale. Everyone says it's good for you, but nobody actually enjoys the process of consuming it.
That is a fundamentally flawed reading of the text in the film. It is atmospheric.
It's dark. That's not the same thing.
It is the very definition of demonic expressionism. It captures a mood that no modern film has ever managed to replicate.
It's a knockoff. It's a bootleg. It's essentially a dodgy cam rip from 1922.
It is not a bootleg. It is a masterpiece that defined the rules.
It defined the rules of copyright infringement, maybe. But we'll get to that.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Let's just pause and actually establish the battlefield before you stroke out from high blood pressure.
I'm perfectly calm.
We are looking at the sources for F.W. Murnau's 1922 silent film, Nosferatu. We have the excerpt from Cinema, The Magic Vehicle, and we've got the production notes regarding the timeline and the lawsuit.
Or as I call it, the Great Vampire Heist of 1922.
Cinema, The Magic Vehicle, a comprehensive guide. Journey 1, 1913 to 1950.
See, this is what I mean. You are looking at this through such a cynical, legalistic lens.
Oh, the law is the law, mate.
You have to look at the context provided in the source material. Germany, immediately post-World War I, 1922. You have to understand the psychological state of the nation.
Right. Everyone was miserable.
Got it. It was more than miserable. The country is in a state of pessimism, anxiety, restlessness. The source explicitly says the cinema of the time relied on this dark mood.
Oh, here we go. The dark mood defense. It's not bad lighting. It's existential dread.
It is existential dread. You have to remember, this is a country that has just lost a devastating war. Millions dead.
Yeah.
And the Spanish flu has just ravaged the continent. The source material emphasizes that this film emerges from a society that is traumatized.
Okay.
They were taking the trauma of the war, the arbitrary death, the shadows, the fear of the other, and turning it into these nightmarish images. That's why it feels so heavy.
It's easy to say.
It's not just a spooky movie. It's a cultural exorcism.
And hear me out. It's just miserable.
No.
It's dark and miserable because they didn't have the budget to light it properly.
Eh?
You're assigning all this profound depth to what is essentially a technical limitation.
That is such a cheap shot.
Is it? The source even mentions that the technical quality is inferior to other films at the time. It's right there in black and white.
It says the photography quality is inferior, yes, but read the rest of the sentence.
I have read it.
It says that's a fair price to pay for the location shooting, for the realism.
We will get to the location shooting. That is a whole other can of worms. But don't try to sell me this rebel art angle yet.
It is rebel art.
You can't call it a masterpiece of originality when the entire premise was nicked.
It wasn't nicked, it was adapted.
Adapted. Mate, Henrik Helene, the scriptwriter. The source calls him unscrupulous.
It says somewhat unscrupulous.
Do you know what unscrupulous means in academic speak? It means he was a thief. It means he had no morals.
That is a harsh interpretation of a creative process.
Is it?
Let's unpack the origin then, since you're obsessed with the paperwork. Yes, Pronafilm, the production company, wanted to make a vampire movie.
No, let's be precise. They didn't just want to make a vampire movie. They wanted to make Dracula. They wanted to make Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Which itself was based on European folk legends. The source makes this point quite clearly.
Oh, here we go with a folk legend excuse.
Bram Stoker didn't invent the vampire. He researched it for 8 years, yes. But he was pulling from the legend of Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Third Space.
Right. Vlad. I've heard of him.
Son of Dracul. The Impaler.
Yeah.
Stoker took those myths, the folklore of the Balkans, and synthesized them into a novel.
And it was his synthesis. His work.
So why is it a crime if Galeen and Murnau take Stoker's synthesis and adapt it again? It's the folk process. Stories evolve. They change hands.
Oh, stop it. You make it sound like they were sitting around a campfire sharing oral history.
It's the same principle.
They were a film studio, Pronafilm, producers Enrico Deichmann and Alban Grau. They were a business entity. And they took a copyrighted novel published in 1897, which was still under copyright protection,
Okay.
and just decided, you know what, we're not paying for that. We'll just change the names and hope nobody notices.
They changed more than the names.
Not really.
Count Dracula became Count Orlok. Harker became Hutter. The setting moved from London to Wisborg.
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
It's like me writing a book about a boy wizard named Harry Potter who goes to Pickford School of Magic and claiming it's an original folktale.
That's a ridiculous comparison.
It's dodgy. It is properly dodgy, and the source confirms this. It says Galeen somewhat unscrupulously borrowed the story. Borrowed is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Borrowed implies a homage, a creative reinterpretation.
It implies theft. And here is where the story gets actually interesting and where the reality of this situation crushes your romantic view. Florence Stoker.
Bram Stoker's widow, a formidable woman.
She was still alive. This wasn't some ancient text. Bram had died, but Florence was very much alive, and she was the executor of his literary estate.
Right.
And she was having absolutely none of it.
She was furious, I'll grant you that.
She sued them. She said, "You didn't ask for the rights, you didn't pay me a royalty, and you have taken my husband's life's work and butchered it."
And I can see your point of view.
And she didn't just want money. This is the key part. What did she demand?
She demanded the film be destroyed.
Exactly. She wanted it burned. Every print, every negative, erased from history. She wanted Nosferatu to cease to exist.
Yes.
And she won.
She did win the lawsuit.
The court ordered the destruction of Nosferatu. Prana Film went bankrupt. Served them right, honestly. And the prints were supposed to be incinerated.
But this is what makes it so romantic. This is what makes it a rebel film, as you mocked earlier.
A romantic, it's a legal order.
It survived. People hid copies. It survived despite a court order to burn it. Doesn't that add to the allure?
No.
It's this forbidden artifact. We aren't even supposed to be watching it. It's a film that escaped execution.
It's not a rebel film, it's contraband. You're watching stolen goods.
I am watching art that refused to die.
You're watching a film that survived because people were too disorganized or too cheap to destroy the inventory properly. That's not romance, that's hoarding.
It's poetic justice. Art won over commerce.
No, theft won over intellectual property rights.
Yeah.
And look, even if we put the theft aside, which is a massive if, you have to look at the effort involved.
Okay.
The source says Stoker researched for 8 years. 8 years.
I know.
He studied the geography, the folklore, the history. He based the castle on Slains Castle in Scotland. He put in the work.
He did.
Murnau just grabbed a camera and went to the woods.
Just grabbed a camera and went to the woods. You are dismissing one of the most important directors in the history of cinema. F.W. Murnau was not some hack running around with a camera.
The source calls him uneven and unpredictable.
It also says he brought more creative dynamism into expressionist cinema than any other director. You always skip the compliments.
It says both, which implies he was a bit of a loose cannon. One minute he's brilliant, the next he's forgetting to check the lighting levels.
He was a visionary. Look at his pedigree. The man was an art historian. He trained under Max Reinhardt.
Oh, Letty-da. Max Reinhardt, the theater director. So what?
So what? That matters. Reinhardt was the master of German theater. He understood lighting, staging, the psychological use of space. Murnau absorbed all of that. He understood that horror isn't just about a monster jumping out at you. It's about the shadow the monster casts. He wasn't just filming a play. He was creating a visual language.
If he understood Lop so well, why is the film so dark? And don't say atmospheric.
Because it reflects the darkness of the theme. But the real genius, the thing the source highlights as the key innovation, is the move away from the studio.
Here we go. The location argument. This is your big defense, isn't it?
It is a huge deal. You have to compare it to what else was happening. Think about The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which came out just a couple of years prior.
A better film. A much more coherent film.
It's a different film. Caligari was all painted sets, twisted angles painted onto the backdrop, painted shadows on the floor.
And it worked. It was consistent.
It was 2D. It was deliberately claustrophobic and artificial. It looked like a moving painting. Murnau said, no, I want depth. He took the camera out of the studio. Nosferatu finds its strength in the use of location.
And that is exactly where it falls apart. That is the crux of why it is uneven.
How can you say that? It grounds the horror in reality.
It creates a stylistic clash. Look, Expressionism relies on distortion. It relies on the world looking wrong jagged edges, impossible geometry, to reflect the madness of the characters. When you film in a real forest, with real trees that grow straight up and real sunlight, you lose that control.
You gain something else.
You lose the style. The source explicitly states the characters seem divorced from the locations. Divorced. They don't belong there. It looks like actors standing in front of a postcard.
You are missing the point entirely. That divorce creates the uncanniness.
It creates a mess.
The vampire shouldn't fit into the natural world. He is an aberration. When you see Shrek, this twisted, rat-like creature standing in a normal courtyard, it's terrifying because he is an invasion of our reality.
No, it's not.
In Caligari, the monster fits the set. In Nosferatu, the monster infects the world.
You are doing that thing again where you take a technical mistake and call it genius. It looks like a pantomime performed in a car park.
It does not.
The acting style creates a massive disconnect. You have these actors doing heavy, stylized, expressionist movements, flailing their arms, clutching their chests, but they are standing next to a very realistic brick wall.
That's the point.
It makes them look silly. It strips away the suspension of disbelief.
It creates a contrast.
It creates a shambles. The source says the film has more in common with the faults of expressionist cinema than with its merits. Faults. Its own source says that.
That is one sentence in a text that calls it the best achievement of demonic expressionism. You are cherry-picking the criticism to suit your narrative.
I'm reading the text. It calls him unpredictable. It says the film reflects his personality, which apparently means it's a bit all over the place.
It reflects his daring. He was willing to fail to try something new. But look, we have to talk about the centerpiece. We can argue about the trees and the sets all day, but you cannot deny the power of the monster.
Max Schreck.
Count Orlok. The source says it unequivocally. Max Schreck is excellent as Orlok. Even you, in your infinite cynicism, cannot argue with that.
All right, fine. I will concede. I will give you this one crumb.
Yeah.
Max Schreck is excellent.
He is properly genius. The makeup alone is revolutionary. The pointed ears, the tufts of hair, the two front teeth like a rodent.
Yes.
He isn't the charming, suave Dracula we got later with Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee. He isn't a seducer. He is a walking pestilence.
He looks like a shaved rat. I agree. He possesses a verminous, repulsive quality that strips away any romanticism.
Exactly. That is the point. And his name, Max Schreck. Do you know what Schreck means in German?
I assume you're going to tell me, whether I want to know or not.
It literally means fright. Maximum fright. It's almost too perfect. There were rumors for years that he wasn't even an actor, that he was an actual vampire Murnau found in the Carpathians.
Which is nonsense. He was a working actor. He was in other films. It's a great story, but it's just a story.
But the performance is so committed. When he rises from that coffin, the stiffness of his movement. He doesn't move like a human. He moves like a rigid corpse that is being puppeted by some dark force. It is iconic.
Okay, Schreck is good. I'll give you Schreck. He is genuinely unsettling.
Right.
But everyone else, absolute timber.
What?
Wooden. Stiff. The source is brutal on this. It says the acting is on the whole unconvincing.
It's stylized. It's of its time.
It's bad acting, mate. Let's look at Alexander Granek as Knock.
Yes, the Renfield character.
He's supposed to be the madman under the vampire spell, but he's laughing like a maniac, eating flies. It's not scary, it's pantomime.
It's unsettling.
It belongs in a children's play.
Yeah.
And Gustav von Wangenheim as Hutter.
He's the innocent hero. He represents the naive modern man encountering ancient evil.
He's a plank of wood with a smile painted on it. He wanders through the castle, sees a vampire, and just sort of shrugs. Oh, bother, a monster.
That's not what happens.
The source specifically calls out the cast.
Yeah.
Unconvincing. You can't have a horror movie where the victim doesn't seem to realize he's in a horror movie.
Because you are judging it by modern standards of naturalism. This is 1922. They were coming out of the silent theater tradition. You have to emote with your whole body because nobody can hear you scream.
So did Shrek.
The gestures have to be large to convey the emotion to the back of the auditorium.
Shrek managed to do it without looking like a marionette with tangled strings. The others didn't. It's a discrepancy.
No.
You have this terrifying, realistic rat man, and then you have these hammy actors prancing about. It breaks the immersion. It's inconsistent. That is the unevenness the source is talking about.
I disagree. I think the stylization of the supporting cast highlights the reality of the vampire. It makes him seem even more alien.
You would say that.
But speaking of the rat man, I love the aesthetic choices Murnau made regarding the plague.
The rats.
Yes, the ship, the Demeter, or I think they call it the Ampusa in some versions of the print, but the source mentions the rat-infested ship.
It's gross. a bit much.
It's horrifying. Dracula isn't just a seducer in this version, he's a carrier of disease.
Yes, we get it.
The way they show the plague spreading through Wisborg.
Wisborg. Which is a made-up town, by the way, a mashup of Rostock and Wismar. They couldn't even commit to a real city.
Right, but the geography doesn't matter. The feeling of the plague matters. That connected deeply with the audience in 1922. They had just been through the Spanish flu.
Okay, true.
They knew what a pandemic felt like. They knew the fear of an invisible killer sweeping through a town. When Orlok brings the rats, he brings death. It's visceral.
Okay, fair point. The plague stuff is effective. I will admit that the shot of the coffins being carried down the street is chilling.
There you go.
But then Murnau ruins it with his pretentious visual tricks.
Ruins it. This is the best part. This is where the cinema becomes magic.
Oh, God, here we go. The shadows.
The shadows. The scene where Orlok is creeping up the stairs and we only see his shadow on the wall reaching out for the door handle. That is arguably the most famous shot in horror history.
It's a shadow puppet show. It's literal shadow puppets.
It is skillful manipulation of lighting, according to the source. It creates a sinister silhouette.
A silhouette, yes.
It's about what you don't see. That's the terror. The shadow is larger than the man. It extends his reach. It consumes the light.
It's about what they couldn't afford to show. It's a cheap effect. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the nature documentary nonsense.
The inserts. I love the inserts. They're poetic.
It's mental. Absolute madness. You're watching a vampire movie. The tension is building. Hutter is in danger. And suddenly, cut to, a polyp with tentacles.
It's thematic.
Cut to, a Venus flytrap eating a fly. Cut to, a spider spinning a web. What is going on?
It's symbolism. It's brilliant symbolism.
It's a biology class. Why am I watching a spider spin a web in the middle of a chase scene?
The source explains this perfectly. It's as if trying to include vampires among the yet unsolved mysteries of nature.
It's pretentious.
Murnau is saying that the vampire is a predator, just like the Venus flytrap. He's grounding the supernatural in the natural world. He is saying, look, nature is full of things that feed on the living. The vampire is just another part of that cycle.
He's padding the runtime. It destroys the pacing. You're terrified, and then suddenly you're watching National Geographic. Here we see the Venus flytrap in its natural habitat. It pulls you right out of the narrative.
No, it doesn't.
It intellectualizes the horror instead of letting you feel it.
It adds a cosmic dimension. It suggests that the vampire is inevitable, a force of nature.
It's boring. It's a director showing off. Look how clever I am. I can edit two unrelated things together. And what about the phantom carriage?
Ah, the fast motion. It's so eerie.
It looks like Benny Hill.
It does not. That is a sacrilegious comparison.
It does. The carriage moves at double speed. It zooms across the screen. It's comical. I expect Yakety Sax to start playing.
It's meant to show unnatural speed. It signals to the viewer that Hutter has crossed the threshold into the land of phantoms. Time doesn't work the same way there.
It looks silly. It hasn't aged well.
And the eerie drive through the woods, the source points out he used negative film.
The weird white trees.
The trees are white, the sky is black. It looks like a ghostly dimension.
It looks like the film was developed wrong.
You are hopeless. That was a technical innovation. Nobody had done that to depict a supernatural space before.
Yeah.
He made the world look inverted.
It looks dodgy. It pulls me right out of the movie. I'm not thinking, ooh, scary ghost dimension. I'm thinking someone in the lab messed up the chemicals and Murnau said, leave it in, call it art.
That is your cynicism speaking, not the film's failure. The source calls these effects powerful. It mentions the ship gliding over phosphorescent waters. It's dreamlike.
It is.
It operates on the logic of a nightmare.
It's a fever dream, I'll give you that. But let's talk about the story, because for all your talk of symphonies and masterpieces, the plot is full of holes.
It's the Dracula story. It's a classic tragedy.
Is it? Let's look at the inciting incident. Hutter goes to the castle. Orlok sees a picture of Hutter's wife, Ellen. And what does he say?
He says, your wife has a beautiful neck.
Your wife has a beautiful neck. Are you joking?
It's iconic. It's chilling.
It's the cheesiest pickup line in the history of romance or horror. If someone said that in a pub, they'd get glass. Nice neck, darling. It's laughable.
It establishes his hunger. He's not looking at her face. He's looking at the jugular vein. It's predatory. It shows that he sees humans as livestock.
It's subtle as a brick. And then we have the ending, the climax. Or rather, the
The
anticlimax.
sacrifice of Ellen. It is tragic and beautiful.
It's a technicality.
What do you mean?
Bram Stoker's Dracula. How does he die?
Knife to the heart. Quincy Morris and Jonathan Harker stab him. It's a hunt. It's very dramatic.
Right. Violent. Physical.
A battle.
Good conquers evil through force. How does Orlok die?
Ellen distracts him. She is young, noble, and innocent. She realizes that to save the city from the plague, she has to keep him occupied until cockcrow. She opens the window.
She opens the window. That's her weapon. Fresh air.
Yes, she lures him in. He drinks her blood. He gets so caught up in the ecstasy of the blood that he forgets the time.
He overslept?
He didn't oversleep.
The master of darkness, the ancient evil, the scourge of God, is defeated because he forgot to set an alarm clock.
He is vanquished by the powers of good. The light of dawn catches him.
And he goes poof.
Yeah.
Dissolves into thin air.
And it's magnificent, the way he fades away. It's like smoke clearing.
It's a cop-out. Oh, look at the time, I'm melting.
Yeah.
It's lazy writing. They couldn't figure out how to have a fight scene, so they just erased him.
Lazy writing. Do you realize what you were saying? This film invented that rule.
What? What are you on about?
Before Nosferatu, vampires didn't burn in the sun. In Stoker's novel, Dracula walks around in the daylight.
He does.
Yes.
He's just weak.
He doesn't die. Murnau and Galene invented the death by sunlight trope. Every vampire movie that came after, from Christopher Lee to Buffy to Twilight, uses the rule that Nosferatu created.
So we have Murnau to blame for that, too. Great! Another thing.
It's not blame. It's a brilliant visual metaphor. The light destroying the shadow. It fits the expressionist theme perfectly. Cinema is the art of light. Therefore, the monster of shadow must be destroyed by light.
It feels convenient. It feels like a get-out-of-jail-free card. How do we kill this unkillable monster? Oh, just open the curtains.
It required the sacrifice of the pure woman. Ellen dies too. It's a tragedy.
Yeah, she dies because her husband was useless. Hutter spent the whole movie running around Europe doing absolutely nothing useful.
Hutter represents the helpless bourgeois. He can't stop the ancient evil. Only the pure heart of Ellen can.
Hutter represents a bad actor who didn't know what to do with his hand.
You are impossible. Absolutely impossible.
I'm realistic. Look, we've argued the details, but we have to answer the big question, the so what question.
The so what is that this film opened the genre of horror cinema. The source says it explicitly. Opens the genre of horror cinema. Before this, you didn't have the grammar of horror.
But is it actually watchable? Today. Right now.
Of course it is.
Is it? Be honest. If you put this on for a modern audience, people raised on The Conjuring or Hereditary, are they scared? Or are they checking their phones?
If they have any appreciation for art, they are mesmerized. It captures a unique atmosphere that you cannot get with modern HD cameras.
It's called bad resolution.
The graininess, the silence, the flickering. It feels like a nightmare captured on film. It feels like something that shouldn't exist. It has a oncological quality.
It feels like homework.
It is history.
It's bloody hard work. That's what it is. You have to squint through the grain, put up with the pantomime acting, and listen to a score that's trying way too hard to tell you how to feel.
You are so jaded. You have no appreciation for the roots of the medium.
I'm not jaded. I'm critical.
Yeah.
The source says the technical quality is inferior. The acting is unconvincing. The director is uneven. Why are we worshiping this?
Because despite all those flaws, or maybe because of them, it works. It creates dread. It lingers in the mind.
I think we worship it because it's old. We confuse old with good. We confuse first with best.
We worship it because it survived. It beat the lawsuit. It beat the fire. It is a survivor.
Let me ask you this, a provocative thought to end on. And I want you to really think about this, not just give me a fanboy answer.
Go on then.
If Florence Stoker had won completely, if the bailiffs had been thorough, if every single print had been burned, if Nosferatu was lost to history, would we actually be missing anything?
Yes, everything.
Or would we just have saved ourselves 90 minutes of blurry rats and copyright infringement?
I am gobsmacked. I am actually gobsmacked. You are suggesting we should burn the Mona Lisa because the paint is cracking?
The Mona Lisa is original. This is a photocopy of a stolen book.
It's not a photocopy.
It forces us to ask, is it better to have ethical copyright enforcement or to have stolen art that changes the world? I'm leaning towards the ethics.
It is the foundation of the haunted house we all live in. Without this, you have nothing.
It's a shed in the garden that needs tearing down.
I can't do this. I'm going to go watch it right now just to spite you.
Go ahead. I'm going to watch something proper. Maybe something where the monster doesn't die of a vitamin D overdose.
You have no soul.
And you have no taste. Cheers.
Unbelievable. Absolute shambles of an opinion.
Rubbish.
Genius.
Rubbish.